Hello everyone, my name is Rohan, and I decided to do an embed project. I've done most of a lot of object-oriented programming or some of the other programming languages that are offered at Valencia, but I was encouraged by the professor to try something new, so I did try and do something with that. I was a little confused with all the wiring, but here's my project, and what it's going to do is going to measure how far something is from it, and then display that on the serial display from the Arduino. Ideally, what's going to happen is that the trigger pin will send out a signal and bounce off the object, and then come back to the echo, which will then give us the full distance traveled. Then I have to divide that by 2, do some distance math, and then we'll figure that out. What will happen is that this green light will be on for the most of the time, and then once it reaches a certain range, it gets too close, this red light will then trigger. Sorry, the wiring's not too pretty, but here's kind of like a close-up of it. And then yeah, I'll give you guys a demo right after this. Alright, so here's my project. It's connected to my computer over here. And then I do have my object over here. And while I'm doing this, there's also a printout of how far away this thing is. So if I start moving it inward slowly, we can see that it's still green. It's not hit the range, and that the distance is starting to go down. And then when I keep going in and get to a certain point right here, it is in the target range of under 6, and the red light's on. If I move back a little bit, it'll go back, and then if I move it closer again, it'll come back on. So the code itself is very complex. I have some things defined, like the trig pin, which is the thing that sends out the sound signal, and then, like I said, the echo pin, which takes in the sound. We have our LED and LED2. So here we go to our pin mode, and since I set the trig pin to 13, we can go down here and we can find the trig pin is usually, you can see kind of like the back here. And then we see trig, which if we follow the yellow cord, there it's on 13. Like we see up here, it is on. It is defined as 13. And since the trig pin is the pin that is sending out the signal, that'll be our output. Echo is taking the signal back in after it bounces off, so we have that as our input. And then we have the LEDs as our outputs, because those are going to be on whenever we need to get a notification about how far something is. Now we can see here is that I set up 2 long variables, duration and distance, and then we can do getting all the information in, and then calculating the distance here, which is duration divided by 2. And like I mentioned, because it sends the signal out and then brings it back in, that's the full distance that it's traveling. So in order to get the distance from the object, we have to divide that by 2. And then we divide by 29.1 in order to get the centimeter value. And if we wanted, we could change this to different inputs. We could even change the centimeters to inches. We just have to do a little bit different math. And here we have the if statement. If the distance is less than 6, that's how the light triggers. I'll be honest, this was probably one of the parts that gave me the most trouble. I had to bump it up to 6. So it'd have to be under something under 6, because if it was at 4 or less, this trigger would it would start measuring objects kind of weird, and I would get a bounce up in how the centimeters displayed. Like, it would get too close and then it would start jumping up to 13, and I'm not sure if that's because of the type of math that was going on, or maybe the variable was, or maybe the bounce was going on too short. I did end up changing the delay between the ping out and everything as well, just so I could have like a little less consistent measurements. So it's like right now it's saying out of range because there's nothing in range of it, but I put my arm right in front of it here, and then now it is calculating that. But I did slow that down a little bit, so it's not like constantly outputting numbers. And then, like I said, the serial print is how we have the if conditional if something's too close or if it's too far away. And I think that's why I was giving me the issue with the less than 4 as well. That's why I decided to bump up the if distance less than 6 instead of leaving it at 4. But that's just an overview of the code that I have. So hopefully you guys like the little demo that I put on for the project that I created. As far as upgrades go, instead of relying on the serial output, I was thinking about adding one of these LED displays. I'm sorry, LCD displays to kind of show off the distance instead. That could be something else that could be added. Also, these two lights, they don't have to be lights. They can also be something else that can be triggered within set distances. I can also look into adding a third trigger. So yeah, there are definitely plenty of options that I have left with this project, and then hopefully I can continue to grow it, or I can just reset the wiring and try something brand new. So thanks for checking out my project, and have a great end of the semester.